Hello and welcome to Uplevel Living and Transformation Tuesdays. If you're watching live, today is January the 14th. We go live at 9 o'clock. So um, I really appreciate those who do join me live and get on the call, as we call it. Today's topic is going to be setting smart goals. And before we start there and give people a chance to log on, um, want to touch base a little bit on last week. Last week we spoke about habits, and one thing I mentioned with habits is, if you're trying to set or create a new habit, the best way to do that is to make it a goal. And so I thought the natural segue this week was to talk a little bit about goals and SMART goals, which is an acronym: SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic or relevant, and time bound. And so we're going to go through each one of those and see if it's something that helps you, something that you use. I got to be honest, I don't always follow a formula, and goal setting really is kind of like a formula. And so there's all different types of people, and I consider myself a creative person, and creative people get bored really quickly. We get bored with the process, we get bored with maybe not seeing the kind of results that we want to see. And I think that's true for a lot of people, and I think that's probably the biggest problem with reaching your goal is, I don't know if it's the society we live in or always looking over your shoulder and comparing. One thing I learned is, don't compare your day one to someone else's day 1,000, right? I've been on the health and wellness journey for 5 years. So let's say roughly 400 days a year, to make easy math. That's 2,000 days, right? So if I'm, doing certain things at this point that are habits and you're just getting started, you can't compare, your day one to my day 4,000. Um, but everybody's a little bit different, and I have definitely developed some really positive habits. One is my diet. I changed a lot of what I eat. Another one is water. Like, water to me has been one of the most amazing habits that I've changed. Hello. And as you log onto the call, if I don't necessarily acknowledge you, I want to stress this. It's not that I'm ignoring you, but there's a little delay between what I say here and then responses and comments. But please, everyone is welcome. And again, since I am going to record this and then replay it, um, I just may not necessarily be able to get to everyone. But welcome to the call as you guys log on. Again, we're talking today about goals, but I wanted to transition from Transformation Tuesday last week, where we spoke about habits and how a new habit really needs to be a goal, and how you set that goal and the steps to get there. So for me, one of my big goals, last year, well, now we're in 2020, so 2 years ago, was writing the book. Writing the seven, writing the transformation manual. Um, you know, I went to great schools. I had great teachers, and that background really helped me organize the book. I came up first with a title. To me, the most important thing in any kind of creative endeavor is the name. Like, the name has to be everything. And this name changed quite a few times. And I finally said everything that's going on in here is about my transformation and my midlife transformation. And I stuck with it because I speak to a lot of people and they say, midlife, oh, you went through a midlife crisis. So I address midlife crisis in here, identity and purpose. But, it really, to me, was about reframing midlife. Why does the word crisis have to be the next word that we always associate with midlife? Why isn't it, midlife, best life, right? Because really, that's what it is for me. I mean, I'm so happy to be at this point in my life, regardless of problems and situations that I have. It's the way that I react to things now and the way that I handle things now. I wouldn't really have it any other way. So, I came up with the name, and I kind of stuck. And then as I'm writing, I came up with chapter names. And then as I came up with chapter names, I came up with, like, it kind of just really started to fall into place. And I think that's a key thing with habits and goals is, it has to be a passion. It has to be a passion. And when you start off, if you want to change your diet, you're probably not really passionate about it. And if you're trying to exercise, you may not really be passionate about it. But until it becomes a passion, you're really always just trying. You know, you're trying to put that square peg in the round hole, right? You're not an exercise person. You're not a salad person. This is one thing I've learned is you always win the game that you're playing. So that self-talk, the excuses that we make, because that's really what it boils down to, you're always going to win that game. So, okay, you may not be passionate about exercise, but you are passionate about being healthy. So we spoke about habits last week and about connecting to the why beneath the why, the purpose and the identity, because it really has to ignite the passion. For example, I have an idea for another book, and I want to call it the top 100 word of mouth tactics, or top 100 talk triggers. So this is a business book, and I want to talk to business owners and ask them, what is the word of mouth tactic or strategy or thing that you did that really, lit up your business and really, was successful? So I like that a lot. I think it'll be a great book. I think a lot of people will benefit from it as well. But it's been a while already, and I haven't really, I've been making excuses and self-talk that's, defeating myself, for reasons to put it off, for reasons not to put it out there. And I think, I can keep on making all these excuses, or I can really understand that my passion is business coaching as much as it is health coaching. So if I connect it back to that passion of business coaching, I will, cement this goal. And so we're moving it from, from a habit of creativity and a habit of production and producing creative things to now I got to define the goal. So I want to transition now and talk more about goals. If anyone that's on the call has a goal that they want to write, I would love to, if it's not too personal, share with us and help you and hold you accountable. And here's why. When you have a goal and you don't write it down, but, I want to exercise 3 days a week, like it's a pretty specific goal, but you don't write it down, the chances of success are somewhere around 5%. So those New Year's resolutions, 95% of the people that quit are the people that just didn't write it down. Simply not writing it down, not having it in front of you, not making it a physical reminder. Okay. Now, if you take that goal and you write it down and you make it specific, you put it in your calendar and you write down Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 p.m., no ifs, ands, or buts. You're going to now, and whatever other steps that you need to take, as specific as possible, you're going to raise your chances of succeeding up to 35% on average. So now, there's 65% of people that still fail. Now 35% of people are succeeding because they're very specific about the goal, and you can't just set it and forget it. A goal is something you set, and I would say weekly, you need to review the progress. So we'll talk a little bit more about the specifics of it, but it's not set it and forget it. I think that's another reason why a lot of people quit. If you add an accountability partner, so if you have to report your progress on a daily or weekly basis to another person, your chances of success go up as high as 70%. So, a lot of times that's the missing link, is and these videos, the reason I'm doing these videos, I'm trying to create a habit of content and videos, So I said to myself, I'm going to schedule a Transformation Tuesday video every Tuesday at 9 o'clock. So whether anyone is on the call live or not, it doesn't really matter. I'm developing a habit to create video content, which I can repurpose, because I can download these videos, I can then put them on YouTube, and I can repurpose them. I can put them on my website, I can put them in emails, 100 things. And obviously, the more content you have, the more valuable your service is. So, I made it, I'm being accountable to whoever does get on the call. I'm being accountable to whoever is on Facebook and Instagram, because I'm saying I'm going to do these on Tuesday nights. And that's how I'm able to hold myself accountable. So which is ultimately where you want to get. You want to go from an accountability partner to being accountable to yourself, because you're the only one that's going to be there every day. Every day you have to look yourself in the mirror. So eventually, you know, being able to be accountable is the best thing. And I'm going to talk for a minute about those type of traits and characteristics. To me, they're habit building traits. So if you set a lot of goals and you're not completing them, but you do like write it down and you do write the steps and all this stuff, and you just, I don't know, I don't complete them, there's probably two things. And one is probably you set the goal too high. It was a little bit unrealistic. And what happens is those goals that you set real high, usually when you set a goal, you're excited, oh my God, there's, again, the New Year's and I'm going to do this and that and the other. And you just really don't plan for life. You don't plan, you don't put enough room in there for life and for sabotage, because you are going to be your own worst enemy in every single process that you go to. So, you're setting these goals and you're not completing them. That's one reason why you just didn't set, and we'll talk about the SMART goals in a minute. But this is the other reason. This book is from 1989, and it's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey. I quote it in my book all the time. Like, I got to give him royalties if we sell too many of these books. Stephen Covey passed away, and it became Franklin Covey, the company. I have a picture with him because I went to a conference once on marriages, and just love the guy and everything that he writes here. But this book is about the foundations. It shouldn't even be called The 7 Habits. It should be called The 7 Steps to Create Healthy Habits, because that's really what's in here. It's like the method or the process for you to be a habit creator. In health coaching, we're supposed to be masters of habit change. Well, if you're going to be a master of habit change, these are the things that you really need to you need to do. So I'll read it real quick. Habit 1 is be proactive. Habit 2 is begin with the end in mind. Habit 3 is put first things first. And those 3 habits are about independence. Then the next 3 habits are interdependence. It's think win-win, seek first to understand and then be understood, and then synergize. And then the last habit is sharpen the saw. I laugh a little bit because as I read them, it reminds me of what everything means, and it's so, so powerful. Things like paradigm shifts and things like being responsible, which means being able to respond to situations. Things like the circle of concern and the circle of influence. It's just so much wisdom and so much powerful stuff that fail or succeed. If you can be this type of person, you can have this type of foundation. You have an anchor, man. You're not moved very easily. You're not falling apart for every little thing that comes and goes. So I would definitely suggest this if you are setting goals and you're not completing them. You need to take a couple steps back, and that's what this book helps you do. Take a couple steps back and really work on the foundation, on the why, and work on, it's characteristic traits instead of personality traits, and it talks about that in the beginning. I'm going to send some links to the summary videos that I found on YouTube, which are awesome. This kid did a great job summarizing this book and everything that it has to do with it. So we had habits. We're aligning behaviors now to beliefs, because behaviors have ultimately become habits. So now, whatever new habit it is you want to create, it's a lot easier to create a new habit than to kill an old habit. So by creating a new habit, you'll kill an old habit, but you're not focused on killing the old habit. You know what I mean? So if I want to start exercising, I'm not trying to kill the habit of sitting on the couch and being lazy. I'm just trying to create a new habit of walking every day after dinner. And so that walking every day after dinner obviously means you're not on the couch. So it's that mind frame, it's that mind shift to what you can do that's positive, as opposed to trying to work on what's wrong. Just work on what you can do that is right, and it'll eventually replace the old habit. I'm just looking at some of my notes here. So I want you to think about the goals that you want for 2020. So one of my goals is a book. I have a few board game ideas that I've been working on for a long time. And then all of that stuff is all fine and dandy. But my biggest goal is, and was and is, because I'm still there, is writing my course. And my course has changed names a couple of times, but now it's the 12-session habit change course. 12-session habit change course. because you know what, it was gonna be the diet and exercise course, and it was gonna be the midlife transformation course and all this stuff. And I kept saying, you know what, all of this stuff is good, but what is it really about? It's what I'm coaching is habit change, right? Diet and exercise are the symptoms. What's at the core is the habits. You know, the reason why diets don't work and the reason why exercise programs don't work is not because they don't work. It's because your habits are not in alignment. So I said, you know what, the best thing I can do is teach habit change. And that's what I really, you know, when I was taking the course to become certified as a health coach, you know, we're masters of habit change. So trust me when I tell you, I got plenty of habits that I have not mastered yet. But but I know now, you know, it's like I know the process. And here's the thing, you got to pick one. You know, pick the one that's you're most passionate about. Pick the one that connects to your purpose and identity, and you'll have the best chance of success. And then that success breeds other success. Because if you've done a lot of goal setting and you haven't been successful, that's really tough. You know, that really just squashes you, you know, and we're human, you know, we have these feelings, we have, man, I'm a failure. And, you know, again, I've learned that, you know, most successful people have failed more than anybody else. You know, they've gone through from failure to failure. And we spoke about that a little bit with habits. So, you know, so the book, you know, I started writing this book and I was super passionate about it. And it became a goal. I need to write this book. And a lot of people want to write a book, and it's like it seems like a big thing. So I would say, yeah, don't start here. Don't start at the book. If you have a goal of getting in shape, you have a goal of exercise or healthy eating, you know, start with those goals that you believe in and that are smaller and more attainable, and start to get success under your feet. Because I don't, you know, actually, this wasn't the first time I tried to write this book. This book was originally called Overcoming Yourself. And that started years ago. That started a long time ago. And so when I started this book, I had some of that already written. So I was able to kind of repurpose that because it's really the same, you know, material. Um, but here's the funny thing. I had downtime at my job, and I started writing. And it just came out. Like I was just writing and writing. And then all of a sudden I said, you know what, this is happening. I wrote 20, 30 pages. I said, you know what, this is happening. So now I started to set a time every day when I was going to write. And that's tough. Scheduling creativity is really tough. So you could schedule a time and then nothing comes out. And then all of a sudden it's 2 in the morning and you want to write the book, you know. But it became like I have to write at least an hour a day. So if I wrote at whatever time, that was fine. I started to develop the chapters. So like naming the chapters helped me create the material for it, and naming the chapters helped me create these, you know, steps. And I never wanted to call it steps. And then I started sharing it with my girlfriend Yvonne and having her read it and give me some feedback. And I'll tell you, the first time she read it, it was like chapter 1, and it was such a mess. My God, I was looking at her like, you don't understand what I'm writing. And it was like, this is going to take forever. Like I have never told her this, but hello Susan. But when she first read that chapter and she started giving the feedback, I was like, man, I failed. You know, I failed. This is not going to happen. And I really paused for a second. And then habit, passion, the goal, stick to the process. And I started writing and editing it again. And then I started looking for an editor, and I said, no one's going to edit my stuff. I have to pay them all this money. So I used a program called Grammarly, and there's other programs out there, and it helped a tremendous deal. It was super awesome, made a lot of positive changes and, you know, rewrites and edits. And then I started looking into Amazon and what's self-publishing about, and, you know, but I put all these steps, and every week I had to complete something. And every week I did. And it took about 9 months. I started writing in about October of 2018. And in June of 2019, I published the book. Um, and it still has mistakes. So right now, the cool thing about an ebook, the cool thing about Amazon is I'm reading it very carefully every day, you know, not every day, but, you know, I set some time to read it. I've seen some of the mistakes, and now I can just edit it and just republish it, and you don't have to print, you know, another 1,000 books. But there are plenty of books out there with mistakes in them, and it goes back to kind of like my theory is if you wait until you're ready, you'll be waiting your whole life. And I'd rather be done than be perfect is another thing. You know, there's people that are OCD and perfectionists and things like that, and they even know it. Like that's a terrible thing because you got to do it so right and so perfect that you end up not doing anything, or it takes you a lot longer and you piss a lot of people off, because no one could see it exactly like you, or be not happy with the results the way that that person is. So it was something that I don't have a writing degree. I'm not an author per se. It was passionate, something that habits that I created, and then I turned it into a goal to write this book. So um, it's possible, anything is possible. It says, your body achieves what your mind believes, and I think it's true for creativity as well. Um, I still have projects, that I want to complete, and again, the new book. But my biggest goal right now in 2020 is finishing my course, which I've done. So I set a goal to write all of the PowerPoints. All of the PowerPoints are done for the course. Then I had all of the action step workbook pages. They're all done. Now I started recording the videos, and I've done 3 already. So my goal is to record at least 1, but I'm trying to get 2 done each week. So again, it's there, it's written, but I have a lot of practice. So Susan's on the call, so she said she started trying videos and she was horrible at it. So Susan, that's your day one. Your day one, like I said earlier in this call, don't compare it to someone else's day 1,000. We see people on Instagram, polished people that this is all they do, and they're making a good living out of it. It takes time. And so I'm like, I wanted to be making, money off this by now. And it's been, a slow, steady progress, but it's not where I'd want it to be. And that's okay. I'm not upset with that, because first of all, it's fulfilling for me. This is super fulfilling for me. When you teach something, you have to know it really, really well, or else it won't resonate with the audience and you're not adding any value. So one good thing that I learned a long time ago is learn something as if you have to teach it the next day, or teach it, soon. Because when you learn something that you have to teach it, it changes everything. Now you're accountable also for the information. So regardless of where I'm at, or the book sales, or this and that and the other, I do believe it's going to continue to grow. I do believe it's going to continue to transition. And there's people that have given me great feedback. And, I know that they're friends. I know that but I know that they're not saying it just to, oh, wow, you're doing a good job. So let's talk a minute about SMART goals. So the S in SMART is specific, right? So you have to set your goal specific. If you want to lose weight, put a number on it. Put a number on it. Say 10 pounds by this time. And then here's my advice: cut it in half. Whatever your goal is, cut it in half. You're setting a goal probably in the middle of emotion, in the middle of excitement, and you're setting this high goal and this high bar. So if someone's planning, let's say, a retreat, that first retreat, if you want 100 people, set a goal for 50. If you want to write 10 pages a day, set a goal for 5. You know why? Because that's 5 more pages than you probably have ever written before. That's 50 more people than you've ever had at a webinar, at a meeting before. Cutting the goal in half, and then setting the steps, so it's very specific. How much do I have to do each week? When people will tell me they want to lose 20 pounds, I say, great. Here's the plan to lose 10. And they're like, well, I want to lose 20. I said, fine. You can't lose 20 if you don't lose 10, right? So I'm going to show you how easy it is to lose 10, and that the same principles can be applied to lose the next 10. And then based on your body, where you really need to be. So I learned this from a guy, because that goal that you set for 20, here's the other side. You set a goal for 20 pounds and you lose 10. Guess what? Are you happy, or are you pissed off? You're pissed off. Yet you've just lost 10 pounds, and you've made tremendous success. It's 10 more pounds than you've probably ever lost before, but you're upset because you didn't lose 20. So the goal that's supposed to inspire you and motivate you is crushing you because you didn't reach it. So I'm not saying about setting soft or easy goals. I'm saying set specific goals that are attainable. The second letter in the SMART goals is M, and M is measurable. So that 10 pounds now is specific, and now we have to be measurable about it. So that's pretty simple, right? You're going to say, I'm going to lose a pound a week. Well, that's good. Now it's measurable. But again, go back to the first one and cut it in half and go half a pound a week. Because a pound a week is doable, and is not, and it's healthy, and it's sustainable. Excuse me. Anything more than that, I always coach against it. But a half a pound a week, is life-changing. If it's life-changing, but people don't want to wait so long. But let me tell you, if I told you a year from now, you'd be 40 pounds lighter, well, 52 weeks, 25 pounds lighter, would you be happy with that? It's not just being 25 pounds lighter, it's being sustainable 25 pounds, because every 98% of people who lose that much weight gain it back in 6 months. When you do it gradually like that, you really learn your body, you learn the process, and it stays off. It's not a diet, it's not a fad, it's not a quick, get lose weight quick scheme or anything like that. So specific, whatever these New Year's resolutions are or goals are for 2020. Susan's on the call, and I kidded around before, but we spoke about doing a retreat. That is very specific, but what it's about is not specific yet. Defining it is not specific yet. You really need to define it to the T, because it's a lot easier to be successful with a specific goal than to be, unsuccessful with a very broad goal and trying to please everybody. And then that specific, goal and that specific type of event, the measurable part, and then you work it backwards. So if you want to retreat by June of whatever, what do you have to do? What has to be done by May? What has to be done by April? What has to be done by March? What has to be done by February? And you work it backwards. And those are your measurable steps. Those are your benchmarks that you want to target or not. Sorry, let me just. Okay. All right, we're almost done here. I only take 30 minutes on these calls. If you have any questions, it's John at Up Level Living. If you want to take the conversation offline, of course, most people have my number or other ways to reach me. The A in SMART, SMA, is attainable. So it's a little different than measurable or specific. When I said cut it back, this is kind of like the cutting back part, making it attainable. I love this quote: small hinges swing big doors. You can have a giant door and a small little hinge on it, and it opens. It swings it open. You don't need to take giant steps to be successful or to reach a goal. Here's the thing about a goal. Let's say I'm at step 1 and a goal takes 100 steps, right? The problem is we're always focused at the result, the end. We're focused on step 100. And really, what you need to do is change your focus to step 2 and step 3 and step 4. Don't even look up at step 100. The book, thank you. The book, when I really got into it, I stopped looking at the end result, and I was just writing the next line. And this is like in sports, they talk about this all the time. Just don't even forget the next team. Just the next play is all you're focused on. When you kind of intentional like that, it's really powerful because your focus is there, your energy is there. You're not wasting a lot of time on a lot of things, and you're also not allowing negativity to kind of crawl in because you're so far away from step 100. So that's cool. Attainable, relevant. So, like I said in the very beginning, if you're not passionate about it, it's very, very difficult. So if you don't like to exercise, I understand. You don't like to sweat, I understand. You don't like salad and stuff like that, which is all, just a misconception. It's not, healthy food is a lot more than that. I understand. But break it down to its most common denominator. Do you want to live your best life? Do you want to be the best dad, mom, brother, cousin, whatever you can be for the people around you? You can't pour from an empty cup. You have to make yourself a priority. So that's what the passion is, not the diet, not the weight loss, not the, you have to drill it down to that. And now that inspires you. Inspiration is what's going to cause the transformation. So whatever motivates you is great, but it has to reach that inspirational part for it to be long lasting. So when it's relevant, you care about it, and when you care about it, you are about it, right? You don't lie to yourself. You come clean, because you're gonna fall short. You come clean. I fall short, but I'm not going to, you don't slash your other 3 tires when you get a flat, right? You keep, you fix the flat. But in so many times in goals and in motivation and things like this, we have a setback and we just freaking give it all up. Look how far you've come and go back to why you started in the first place. That's the relevancy. And then timed, and my time is up, so it's perfectly finishing here. making something time bound adds a sense of urgency. You know, if you just say, you know, if you just leave it till this year, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, you know, trust me, you're not going to do it. You know, you need to do this process and then set a timeline, so that you are, you know, holding yourself accountable. And if you can get an accountability partner, like I said at the very beginning, you're going to see tremendous success. I appreciate everyone who was on the call, and I definitely, you know, ask for accountability myself. So by you guys being on this call, it actually holds me accountable as well. Um, I'll post this again, but the habit tracker that I created is a great way to set a goal, to measure it, to see if it's attainable or not, to make sure it's relevant in time. You can use this kind of process, this 80-20, for really anything. If I'm going to write a book, I can do a tracker and just put, you know, write emails, videos, whatever it is. You can do it this way and create these habits. And remember, they take 66 days, which is 12 weeks. You know, 12 weeks. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will post a video so that you can watch it anytime. And pretty soon, I am going to be asking people on the call to sign up for the course. And the first class, the first lesson will be absolutely free. So I just want you to sign up for the course, take the first lesson, and then give me some feedback. And I am going to make it extremely, extremely affordable for anyone that's part of the 14-day challenge group. So if you're not part of that group, I'll post it, but you have to request to join because it's a private group. All right, guys, stay blessed. Have a great night, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.